Hey guys, it is good to see all of you today. So I wanted to hop on here to teach you all a bit of a lesson today on online etiquette and things like that. Before I get into that, I want to pause because I do have a Google Classroom. I believe you're all a part of it at this point. I think I have every student signed up. Um, on there, I've posted lots of videos on calming yourself and dealing with stress or anxiety or mindfulness activities you can do to kind of feel a little bit better when your day is going hard or tough, when your day is tough. So, the reason I wanted to say that is because the lesson I'm about to do is about ways that we could be a bit more respectful or ways that we can just be a better participant in our Google Meets or Hangouts or Zoom meetings, whatever it is that you're doing in your different classes. But I don't want to brush past the fact that I know some of you are struggling, and I know some of us these days are really, it can be tough at times. So I acknowledge that. I know that it can be hard. All those other resources are there for you on my Google Classroom or on my website, and I'll post all of that along with this video so that you can kind of see all those. But now I want to talk to you about something completely different. Okay, so this is not a mistake. Well, it is a mistake, but this is sometimes what I'm seeing or your teachers are seeing when we're asking you to be on Zoom calls or Google Hangout sessions. I don't know about you, but this isn't very entertaining to be able to just see my ceiling and my eyebrows. It's not a great way for us to feel connected, right? And there's this. If we especially are on a phone and kind of moving around as we're, I almost dropped my computer, as we're talking to someone, this is not very pleasant. It doesn't make you feel good to be watching it, and it's kind of disorienting. It's also really hard for you to focus on the person who's talking to you if you're on a phone and you're kind of walking through your house or going through your things and whatnot. So one of my recommendations is, if possible, if you can use your laptop or iPad or some kind of more steady device to talk, to participate in these Google Hangouts and Zoom meetings, then that's a great idea. If you can't, if you have to use your phone or your parents' phone, that's okay too. But let's talk about some different things that you can do with your phone to make it a bit better. First things first, when you're trying to get your work done, even if you're not on a video call, even if you're not meeting with your teacher online or your classmates, it is so important to have a space that is yours for work. Now, I know we're all working in different size houses. We're all working with different amounts of people in our house. For me, I'm lucky. It's me and one other person, my husband. That's it. But for you guys, you might have a bunch of brothers and sisters who are also trying to get their work done. Your mom and dad might be home and they might be trying to get their work done. It can be tough. I don't doubt that. What I want to encourage you to do, if you haven't done so already in these past few weeks, is to find a simple place, even if it's just a little corner, even if it's just a chair with a lap desk that you use, or a chair that you like to sit in and you keep your laptop on your actual lap. Whatever it might be, having a space that is yours, that you feel like when you go there, it's your workspace. This is also going to help when you're doing those video conferences, because then you're not going to be moving around all the time. Some other things. Some of our teachers have said that when you're video conferencing the camera, try and point at your face. We don't want to see down here. We don't want to see up your nose. We don't want to see maybe the other people in your house, though it's nice to say hi. We want to see you. We want to see your smiling faces, because honestly, it helps us too. We miss them. We miss seeing you every day. We miss having you in our classrooms. And to be able to see your face when we're talking, it makes things a little bit nicer. It makes things a little bit better. One of the things I've noticed from some of my students is, especially if we're on a call where you can see yourself, then what I'm seeing the whole time is more like this, and they're kind of looking off to the side or looking down at their own picture. It's tempting to do, I understand. But try your best to be focusing and really paying attention. One of the things I want you to think about today, and I'm going to include a little worksheet for you to do with all this, is I want you to think about ways that you can show someone you're paying attention to them online. Okay? We talk about this skill when we're talking about social stuff in school. Ways that you can show your friends that you're listening. Ways that you can show your teacher that you're paying attention. Now, in this day and age, we have to take those skills and kind of change them around a bit for learning online. Let's talk about some don'ts. Here are some of those don'ts. We covered some of them already. Things like moving your camera around a bunch and walking around your house doesn't really show that you're paying a lot of attention to whatever is being discussed. Things like playing with stuff off screen doesn't really help to show that you're paying much attention at the time. Things like having with a conversation somebody who's in your house and is not on the computer, unless it's mom and dad and they're helping you with something, but just saying to your brother or sister, hey, let go of my stuff, don't touch my stuff. It's not really paying attention. You want to be trying your best to stay focused. You want to be trying your best to be seated if it's at all possible, and to have a nice surface that your device is resting on. So I'm going to show you mine. I'm going to do something I told you not to do and move my computer. So right here, I have my phone. I have this handy dandy little thing that you put on it and it kind of hangs out there. So if I was using my phone to communicate, it's on that base, kind of holding it. If you don't have a base, not a problem. Get a book, stack a book, lean your phone against it. Other things to think about. It can be kind of awkward. I'm just warning you. When we're on FaceTime like this, or Zoom, or just any type of camera that we're looking at each other, think about what you're doing and if you would do it if you were actually facing that person face to face. Would you be picking your nose if you were looking at that person face to face? Would you be sitting a certain way if you were sitting across from that person face to face? We want to make sure that when we're sitting in a way that our bodies are facing the camera and we're sitting nicely and we're making sure that no one's seeing things they shouldn't be, or we're not doing something that can make someone else uncomfortable. So just having that sense of self-awareness, okay, when we're on these video conference calls. The next thing I want to talk to you about isn't so much about when we're video conferencing. It's more about when you're typing or texting with someone else online, whether it's an email or a text or some kind of chat conversation that you might be using. An important thing to remember, sometimes when we don't see the other person, when we aren't actually looking at someone specifically like our teachers, it's hard for us to remember that they're the ones who are going to be reading these things. It's hard for us to remind ourselves, really, that our teachers, these adults that we typically show respect for when we're together in school, are going to be the ones who are reading your comments, reading your emails, and things like that. A few tips here for how to be respectful in those moments. Making sure that our caps lock is off. If you're writing in all capitals, what does it normally come across as? What do you think? Screaming, right? If we see something that's in all capitals, typically it makes us feel like someone's yelling or shouting for our attention. Making sure that you're limiting your comments to be about the subject that you're talking about. So instead of going on your teacher's Google Classroom and just posting a ton of emojis, trying to be funny, making sure that's something meaningful, making sure that's something that has to do with the discussions that are being had and the conversations that are taking place. Of course, and I don't think I need to even say this, but making sure that everything is school appropriate. Appropriate language, appropriate words, things that we wouldn't say in school, we shouldn't be saying online. And that really ties into another subject, my friends, and that is the subject of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is just like regular bullying, but it's when it's happening online. So that means that someone's being targeted or someone's being teased or made fun of constantly. Now, I'm hoping, beyond all hope, that none of you are doing that to each other. But a reminder, if it doesn't pass what we like to call the grandma test. What the grandma test is if it's something you wouldn't want your grandmother to see, you shouldn't be sending it to someone else. If it doesn't pass the grandma test, you don't send it. If you're sending someone a mean comment, even if it's meant as a joke, we don't send it. If you're sending someone a funny picture, but you wouldn't want your grandma to see, we don't send it. If we're doing that, if we're following those rules, it's going to make our online interactions a lot better, a lot smoother, and a lot nicer. So all of these things together are what we call netiquette. Can you say that with me? Netiquette. So netiquette is when we're putting the two words net, like the internet, and etiquette together to form netiquette. And netiquette is the way that we act online. And these days, you're online a lot. You're online for Google Meets, for Zoom meetings, you're online to complete almost all your schoolwork, and then you're probably online for some social stuff too, like playing games or catching up with your friends or family that you might not be able to see during this time. Having appropriate netiquette is a lifelong skill that you're going to need, especially for you guys, because you're growing up during a time where the internet and the use of technology is only going to grow more and more. Just think to last year. We never thought we'd be able to be having school virtually like this. So for us to be doing this right now, though we don't prefer it, it's still pretty cool that we're able to do it. Things like this, as we get older, are going to be more common for us to be online and for us to be using technology in cool and unique ways. So getting our netiquette down pat now is going to really help you in the long run. Making sure that when we're on cameras, we're keeping the camera on our face and keeping everything else out of the way. Shouldn't be laying on our bed. We should not be eating our snacks unless it's a special thing like having a lunch bunch with me. Then it's fine to be eating. But otherwise, we're not trying to eat around our computers. We're not trying to be doing other things or on our phones while your teacher's trying to teach you a lesson. Making sure that when we're responding, when we're texting, when we're typing something, we're doing it as though we're actually in person, facing that person, looking them in the eyes. When we're writing our emails, trying to write them like it's an actual letter. You know, I'm sending this out to my second, third, and fourth graders, and I know that all of you at those age levels have practiced letter writing in your classrooms. Using those skills online, using those things that we've learned in our actual school building, kind of transferring it over, moving it over to using it online. So I'm going to connect this video to a few other YouTube videos that I'd like you to take a look at and see. Some of them are silly and cute. Some of them are a little bit more serious. I think they each do a great job of talking about netiquette a bit more and also what's expected of you when we're in these Google classrooms, when we're online and learning in this environment. And then I'm going to ask you to fill out our exit ticket, which is a Google form that's also included in all of this. So watch this, watch the other videos, and then fill out that Google form, which is going to ask you a few questions about what you think about all this information and the ways you think you can apply it to your actual classroom. My friends, last bit of information I want to share with you because I haven't gotten to talk to all of you during this time. I am here for you. Just like at LPES when I would walk down the hallway or call your classroom and ask you to come to my office for a bit of time. Just like at LPES when you would come to my office for a lunch bunch group or a small group session. Those things are still happening. They're happening online, like we're talking about right now. I'm still seeing students virtually, one-on-one. I'm seeing students in small group sessions. I want to talk to you guys, even if you don't really have much to talk about, even if you're just feeling some emotions or just want to jump on and say hi. I'm here for you. So, that being said, if you go to my Google Classroom, the form is there. You can go and request a session with Mrs. Heftler, request to speak to Mrs. Heftler. There's also a box that you can check on your check-in form for asking to be in a lunch bunch. If all of that sounds too complicated, shoot me an email. It's my last name, Heftler, Heftler, at lincpk.com. When you start typing it into your Google, your Gmail, it'll come right up. Reach out to me. I'm here for you guys, and I want to talk to all of you as much as possible. Okay, so finish watching these videos, answer those questions, and let me know how I can help. Thanks, guys.